Hey everyone, this is Olay Shorunke from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast.
Folks, happy Sunday. Welcome back. It's Olay and it's Festus for week 3 of Laddering Your Success free student mentoring. All right. This is our third weekly session of mentoring where we talk about issues that students are going through, things that will help them as they ladder their success, things as they find their purpose, things as they find their vision, as we're going to talk about today. Social. What do you do when meeting friends, meeting mentors? How do you gain their information? What questions do you need to ask from them? We're not Dave Ramsey, but we've read his books, right? So we can tell you some cool things to help you out with finances and how to get going in that aspects. Vocational. What is a vocation? All those things. Spiritual. All those things. And so here we are again, Festus. Festus, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing well, but kind of like you, got a little stuffy nose, a little in the throat, you know?
Yeah, in there, yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, man. We're going through it. It's going to get some tea, lay down a bit, watch some football, catch up on some work, and get some. I may go out for a walk a little bit later.
I feel that, man. You know, I was thinking, man, we need to get out there to the tennis courts again, man. I'm like,
man,
why are we not hitting the tennis court? You know what I mean?
Man, I went to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was at Stratford, and they were redoing the courts.
Oh.
Like they were doing some sort of construction because everything was closed.
Yeah.
And they have like this huge wall.
Yeah.
That like a tennis wall, and so I was like, oh man, can't go there. So yeah, hope man, yeah, we got to get back. We got to get back out there. Man,
when was this?
It was a couple of weeks. It was man, it may have been before school started actually.
Okay, yeah, because I still think they're doing some construction because they're expanding Stratford, and I'm just thinking I literally was like, with this whole thing where possibility of having COVID in the house, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go over there, hit the ball against the wall, and so that's why I was like, okay, it's good to know, but yeah, you if you're ready, man, you can kick this off and we can start talking about vision.
For sure, absolutely. Well, that's a great point there, Festus. Let's start off by just asking the question itself. What is vision? I talked about this with some of the boys in our boys group last week, and I asked them, what is vision? And I was trying to get them, it's one of those things that have multiple meanings, right? But within those multiple meanings, they kind of do mean the same thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it from like just a generic sense. What is vision? And then what is vision as it pertains to us as individuals, as young people, trying to figure out where we're going to go in our lives?
Just kind of off top, man, I remember back in high school, man, because for those who don't know, those who haven't read our books, haven't been around what we're doing, my parents passed away in high school. And so I was definitely just kind of lost, just kind of, just didn't have a lot of direction. And I remember I was telling a good friend named Jeremiah Poja about how I thought the future would turn out. And I told him at the time, family's from Nigeria, my sisters were in Nigeria. And at the time I told him, hey man, my sisters are going to come back from Nigeria and I'm going to buy a house. And he was like, how are you going to do it? And I was like, I don't know, but it's just going to happen. And I didn't know that I was speaking a vision back then. And so oftentimes we think a vision means like, I got this vision board and I got this crazy stuff going, which those things are really, really good because they help to bring definition. But sometimes just having that imagination and idea and that creativity in your head about what your future is going to look like, it helps you take some steps there. So I know Olay's about to drop some knowledge on us. I just had to throw that out there, man. It's just a flashback moment. So go ahead, Olay.
Well, yeah. So I just wanted that. No, you said it, man. But and I remember that. But from just the outside looking in, we can describe vision as sight, right? we can say that it's something that is seen. When I think of vision, that's what I think of. Sight, something that is seen, something that I can see. And when you think about what you just said, Festus, you hit the nail on the head, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't happening, but you saw it. Mm-hmm. You saw your sisters coming to America. You saw you all buying a house, and those things were accomplished. Those things were accomplished. That's what vision is, right? Vision is seeing something for yourself, and then the action, right? Therein, the action working to complete that sight, which was song, to see,
I feel you.
To finalize what you saw. And so that's major. That's key right there.
So let me throw this out there. Huh? Oftentimes, there's an element of trust that goes hand in hand with vision, right? You get, let's say I'm a person struggling, right? I'm struggling. How is this not hocus pocus? Just believe. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're talking to one of your students and they're struggling and they're saying, "Look, this is just hocus pocus," right? What would you have to say to that?
Ooh, okay. So I've got a student that's just like totally against whatever we're trying to learn right now. Oh, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And they're just like, this is hocus pocus. Man, I would tell them that everything that we're doing is for a particular reason. It's to prepare you for something greater. I think one of the biggest things you have to do, especially these days as a teacher, is you have to make whatever you're teaching relatable to, you have to offer real life application to whatever your students are learning. Because if not, the students are just going to be like, we're just here just to be here.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. You know, I teach fifth grade. A lot of my students know about like meme coins. They know about Dogecoin and Shiba.
Oh, they be putting you on?
The question, huh?
They put you on?
Well, I put them on and then they put me on.
Okay, you know, like I don't trust their financial literacy just yet. Okay, go ahead.
So we were in class, and so we looked it up on Yahoo Finance, and it was a great way to talk about place value because you know those coins are so
yeah, them Shitashis.
Exactly. You know, because the place value of all those, the current price of the coins, you know, so it was so cool because the next day I was like, how much do you think Dogecoin is worth? And one of my students raised their hand and they're like, I think it's about 245 millions of a dollar. And so they were already able to see that, to see that correlation, you know, between those two things. And I said, this is y'all's future. This is how a lot of you are going to be paying for things.
Yeah.
You know, and so once you do things like that, I think students start to see like, oh, okay, this is why I need to know this.
Yeah.
You know, I can use this to make money if I know about this early enough. And sometimes we talked about this, I think, a little bit last week. Sometimes it's about activating a seed in a person. Sometimes it's about asking the right question at the right time that activates a seed that randomly will allow that person to find a sense of purpose or to find an unfound skill or trait or ability that they did not have, but they're very passionate, that they're very passionate about. Yeah. And so, you know, that's super key. That's major key, especially as time goes on and technology advances. Those skills that we have inside of us may manifest themselves with whatever current trend is available. I'll give an example. 30 years ago, no one was talking about crypto. Yeah. So there was no real need for anyone to really be, you know, no one was talking about blockchain technology, all these things. But as time goes on, those skills that are necessary to allow people to be thought leaders and to be front runners in a lot of trends, those skills sort of merge with the new technology.
Yeah.
So 30 years later, we have blockchain, and there are people who are like, "Wait, we can use this to do this. We can use it to do that."
Yeah.
And so, it's that awesome melding of time and our own skills and traits. It can happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen to us. I mean, we have our skills right now. Something could change, and we could find like, oh man, this is dirt easy to do this.
Yeah.
To take this facet, to take this sector and just, kind of meld it to our own skills and traits.
We're doing it. Yeah. Most def, man.
Absolutely. So we've got that. What is vision? So we talked about that. Sight, something that's seen. You're taking that and you're taking actionable steps to complete your vision. Okay. Now we need to ask ourselves, why is vision? Why is vision? So we have what is vision, but we also have to ask ourselves, why is vision, or why? One of the things that you'll always hear me talk about is the fact that I am a why person. For whatever reason, you can't just tell me to do something. I need to be always told why a certain thing is happening. I can try and figure it out, but if I can't, I need to be told why. And so why is vision necessary? Why must we have vision? Well, let's think about this. In order to fulfill your purpose, right? I'm under the belief, and I'm sure Festus can attest to this as well. I'm under the belief that every single person that's in the world has a unique talent, skill, trait, ability, some sort of purpose that they are gifted with, that they will use to make this world a better place by the time they leave. Every single person. Every single person. So why? It is your job, it is your responsibility to find that thing that allows you to make this world a better place, that allows you to fulfill your purpose. And that's why we ask these questions. What is vision? Why? Why is vision? Okay. Everyone has that particular skill, that particular trait, that ability that they do just a little bit better than the next person. Everyone has it. If you haven't found it yet, you just got to ask yourself the right question. You got to change your setting, change your scenery, put yourself in a different place, maybe change the people that you're around. Not saying that you find a whole new group of friends, but just talk to different people. You would be very surprised what you find when you do those things. Okay. And so not only is it why, but it's why do I exist? And this is, I'm just taking this from LYS, from the book. I'm just taking this from the book, Festus. There's no need to overcomplicate. And when I say the book, I'm talking about Ladder Your Success, the book.
Yeah,
most by your own Festus Amoye.
Most def. I think that those are some very powerful questions because we have big whys and we have little whys. Your big whys are to me, those things that carry you through hardship in life, right? Your little whys sometimes help you get through the day to day, right? And so you can have so many different whys why you do something. You know what I mean? As a person who, anybody, especially right now with all the stress that's going on and all the pressure that's going on in life, and you're struggling about why am I going to work today? If you see your job or your role from a perspective of it's a paycheck, it's going to get harder and harder to go in, but when you see the bigger purpose, I'm helping the community. I have a special skill set that I'm employing. Different types of things like that, you'll start to have a much bigger meaning and a bigger purpose in why you're doing things. That does not mean, and I know, nowadays you got to be very careful and critical because everybody, you mean just because you should let somebody take advantage of you just because, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying because especially as we get into this talk of vision, we're going to break down how you can take that skill set and maximize the financial benefit from that skill set for your person and for your community, right? But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you kind of knuckle drag through life, just, I guess I'm gonna have to do this. You don't just, drag yourself through life, right? So that's why you have to understand that big why and those little whys. I'll turn it back over to you, Olay.
Sure, no worries. Thank you, man. So I think as you were talking, you helped me, you reminded me of something really important. For all my young people, even those who are like in college, out of college, I think that we have, as a culture, we've kind of like moved it off to the side whenever a child shows a lot of interest in something. A child may show a lot of interest in something, but the parent or people around the child may say, oh, that's great. He loves being outdoors and, working with plants and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if he can really he or she can really turn that into something tangible that can, give them a great life, make them comfortable. And, you start to show behaviors that kind of push that talent, that thing to the side. And I kind of want to ask you, I'm reminded of Sir Isaac Newton came up with the three laws, very important laws of motion.
Yeah,
we're going over force and motion right now.
Inertia, motion. Yeah, I got
absolutely.
It. Yeah.
And so, I showed my students a video of him, and he would, in the video, it was kind of like a reenactment sort of thing, and it showed him in the fields, just literally with a.
So I was gonna say they didn't have no video cameras back then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. He was in the field with like a basket or like one of those nets. And he was literally just watching the motion of the wind, of the net in the wind, just watching how things fall. Nowadays you see a kid, they be like, what's up with that kid?
Yeah.
Over there just watching happens, like, what's going on with that kid over there? You may want to question a little bit. And so I guess what I'm saying is we have to make sure that we let those kids, those natural skills, that we let them just naturally, whatever you see that kid has a likening to, cultivate it. You have no idea what that could turn into.
Yeah.
And when you limit yourself and you say no, like we talked about earlier, we're Nigerians, so we could either be attorneys, engineers, doctors, or nurses. It's great. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but people have skills in so many other things.
You bring up a good point, and that kind of takes me back to the point I was making earlier regarding employing your skill sets in a variety of different areas, right? So I have this kind of joke that I like to say sometimes, is like the same guy who could break into a house and rob the house can start a moving company. You know what I mean? I guess it's the same thing, right? Except the only difference is, one, you're getting paid to do the moving, and the other, somebody is, you're probably getting chased by the cops, right? So the thing is, it's the same freaking thing, right? And so oftentimes, what we don't understand is the value in our skill set, partially because our vision is off, right? And so the thing is, how do we take that vision and then make it tangible? Okay, and so I'll give another kind of story or analogy that I try to use to help people from a business perspective. Okay, so think about it this way: you have a hamburger, right? Now you can get a hamburger from a whole bunch of different places: Burger King, McDonald's, Fleming's, Ruth's Chris. I don't even think they serve hamburger at Ruth's Chris. That's probably beneath them. But right, so the thing is, you have just these different places you can get hamburgers from, right? But you have different price points of the hamburger. What stops Burger King, who's selling a burger for $2, from charging what Bex Prime charges for their burgers? For anybody who's been to Bex Prime, they're basically a high-end fast food joint. You can pay about $15 for a burger over there at Bex Prime, right? What stops them from charging the same amount? So there's different elements to those different price points, right? There's quality of material, right? There's customer service, right? There's experience that's built into it. But the skill set of burger making doesn't really change, right? Now, a person can say, well, at McDonald's, or Burger King, whatever, and I'm not knocking any company, so y'all don't come to us. We don't got money like that, right? So a person could be like, yo, I'm at McDonald's, whatever, and I just need to wait the 2 minutes that the buzzer says to flip the burger, right? And then I did my thing, right? And then at Bex, it's like the guy has like an internal timer, right? No, what it is developing the skill set and understanding the value that you're bringing to the market. So as you have a vision of your life, right, and you're saying, oh man, I want to, whatever it is, my skill set is, just like you were saying, let's go back to the analogy you gave about the kid with the kite in the air doing the Isaac Newton thing. That's aeronautics, right? You know how much they're paying airplane mechanics right now? Let's say you can't become the pilot from the jump. Well, you could be an airplane mechanic and still work in the same industry. And so I'm going to throw this out there. Go to bls.gov, right? And check out the Occupational Outlook Handbook, okay? bls.gov, check out the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And if there's something that you're interested in, look at the related fields, right? Usually in the bls.gov / put a slash OOH, Occupational Outlook Handbook, you could go on there and you could look up a pilot, and it'll tell you what it takes to become a pilot, but then it'll tell you all the other things that you could possibly become that are related to a pilot. So this is important because if we're going to start transcending our environment, right? Whatever the environment may be, we need to understand the value of what we're bringing to the table and how to monetize that skill set properly. And also understanding the time and the season of developing skill set. We're talking to a lot of young people here, right? We're talking to students. There's a reason why you're in school. And I know there's a struggle of like, I don't like being here. School freaking sucks, right? And it feels like a huge waste of time. You're developing certain skill sets. And you're like, I'm not really developing anything here, especially with Google and stuff like that. Trust me, the reason why your teachers are teaching you the things that they're teaching you is partially, it literally forms your brain. And that's good and that's bad. Why is that good and that bad? Because one person, it becomes indoctrination. To another person, it becomes elevation. And so it all depends on where you're at, right? And so the thing is, that's why the values of humility when you're learning are key. Learn to ask the right questions that line up with the vision you see for yourself. With that, Olay, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Ooh, that was cold right there. That was cold right there. What you just said. With that last
I'm spitting bars. I'm just like dialogue.
Mom spaghetti. Spaghetti. No, but it's so true. You know who I'm reminded of when you said that? You reminded me of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant would talk to scientists. He would talk to engineers, doctors, and he would just ask them about just people in high performing careers. And he would just ask them certain questions about preparation. So what do they do to prepare? What's their mindset while they're working? Outside of working, all those different things. He would ask those questions. And so Festus brought up a really good point. Depending on what your passion is, depending on what the vision is that you see for yourself, 10, 20 people could be in the same science class, and you would probably get 10, 20 different questions based off of one concept in science, just because of the experiences that those people have had, and also because of what those students, what their purpose is for themselves and what their vision is for themselves. Because the way that one person may see it, another person may see it completely differently. If you notice, that's why as a teacher, for the students, a lot of times if your teacher is introducing a new concept or a new topic, they may introduce it in like 2 or 3 different ways. They may talk about it, just overall talk about it and its definition and show you a picture. And then they may give you like an abstract idea of something that's kind of similar to it. And then they kind of mold it and kind of correlate it to that concept. They may show you a picture with in-depth, details on it and have you work there. They may hand you something. They may give you like something to actually hold and look at with a group and say, hey, this is this concept, this is how it works. Look, because people have different ways of learning and internalizing information. And so that was phenomenal what you said, because I was just saying how, you can have 20 people in one class and a concept could be introduced and there would be 20 different ways of taking it.
100%, 100%.
And so
that's why having that personal vision is key. Is key. Is just having that personal vision of saying, okay, now that you gave me this, now that I learned this is what I'm gonna do with it. This is where I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely key. So far we've talked about this. We've talked about some questions. First question we've talked about: what is vision? Sight, something that is seen. Why? Why is vision? Why do I exist? Or what is my purpose? Okay. Why do I exist, or what is my purpose? Festus, let's talk for a couple seconds about those two questions. Festus, put yourself in the feet of an eighth grader. You're an eighth grader, and you're trying to figure out.
At that point,
why do I exist?
I thought it was just to get ice cream at school in the line. I did not really.
Bro, do you remember? You went to AMS, right?
Oh yeah.
Or Olay?
Oh, both.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was at Kilo. When I was at Kilo, 30 cents.
Oh yeah.
You could get a nice warm cookie.
Oh yeah.
This big.
Oh yeah. Them cookies. Yeah, man.
Gooey cookies. And that was life, man. That was it.
Especially being on free lunch, man, I realized, man, all you need to really dress up your free lunch is 60 cents. You get a cookie. You get a cookie and you get something else, you good. You know what I'm saying? You feel like it was 60 cents. You know what I'm saying? So what's that? 60 cents times 5, you got $3 for the week. You good. You know what I mean? But that was back then. Now you're a little bit older, and it's like you can't. What? Like if you found 60 cents on the street, what are you gonna do with that? It's not gonna do anything for you.
Man.
But no.
Look, that's it.
So I think we could start really simply talking about vision. And so Olay, since you got the paper, you want to do the Ikigai circles, the 3 circles for the Ikigai. So you're gonna do, it's almost like a Venn diagram. So 3 interlocking circles.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I got you.
And then the bottom circle, yeah, there you go. Okay, so there's this Japanese principle called the Ikigai, and so we're going to use that principle because it is a very quick, easy way of coming up with a vision. Now the thing is, for me personally, I also like to do kind of a vision boarding, and so that's another exercise that we could do later. But for the purposes of what we're doing today, this is a really quick way that you can talk about vision. And so in the circles, one circle is labeled things the world needs. And another way of labeling it is problems in the world, right? Problems that are out in the world. But for today, you just things the world needs. And then the next circle, you're gonna put things that I'm good at or things I'm passionate about or love to do. Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you. And then the bottom is things that I can get paid for. Anybody knows anything about, kind of Japanese yin and yang kind of theory, there's always this balance, right? And so the thing that that the world needs, right? I might not be good at, but I'm good at something. But see, so the thing is, what happens is if you're able to kind of put a list down of the problems in the world, because there's problems that you see that other people don't see, and there's solutions that you see that other people don't see, right? And so let's say a problem is kids getting to school, right? So there's like, after kids miss the bus, there's not really a great way for them to miss the bus. To get to school. So maybe there's an Uber just for kids who who got stuff they got to do, right? So maybe that's a bus service that you can start. And all you need is a van, right? Okay, so this is just kind of a way of brainstorming thinking. Then you think about the things that you're passionate about, right? So are you passionate about students? Are you passionate about helping give people a ride? Are you passionate about different kind of things like that, right? And I know one thing is sometimes it's just I like to help. I just want to help, or I can help. So maybe that's a real basic way of starting. But now if you start to see the problem that's in the world and the fact that you want to help with that problem, that kind of starts moving you towards the center. Well, in the middle of that's kind of like volunteering, right? There's a problem, I can help with that problem, it's volunteering. But what roles are they actually paying people to do? So maybe it's like, oh, animals need help. I like helping animals. Maybe you could start helping at a vet center, but then maybe you could become a vet or a vet tech, right? And again, you just have to look at that according to where you're at to get the right educational fit, meaning that college isn't for everybody, okay? Education is. So you got to find the right education fit for you, okay? And some people, you probably shouldn't go to college straight off the bat. I myself, I probably would not have done as well had I gotten to college straight out the bat. And I'm gonna tell y'all something just straight out, right? I went to the military after high school. Again, I lost my parents. So even just the concept of paying for college and understanding what college is, I didn't know what a freaking credit hour was. As a matter of fact, it took me 6 years to finally figure out what a credit hour was. Well, 6 years of college. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what a credit hour is. But anyway, that's a whole aside, right? Because they don't tell you these things. They just tell you to go, right? So these are just some tools that students can use as they're trying to figure out their vision for their next step. I'll turn it back over to you, Olay.
Oh, thanks, man. That's so true, and that's so good. I imagine if we were in the 8th grade now and we were asking ourselves these questions, just how important they would have been, how much they would have helped us, and just self-discovery, right, at that age. And so real quick, you mentioned something about if you're asking yourself these questions, volunteering, things like that. Now, if you're in the 8th grade and you do this, guess what happens in a couple of months? You're going to have to fill out your schedule for next year. You're going to have to fill out the classes that you want to take. Do you want to do pre-AP? Do you want to do this course? Do you want to do that elective? Now, if you have a general idea based off these things, guess what's going to be easier for you to pick? Those electives that you're probably going to want to take, those different courses that you're going to want to do. It's going to be much more easier for you to figure out those things because you've asked yourself and you've answered those questions. Here's where it gets even better. Once you answer these, and let's say you do join a course and you get a talk with someone who works in a particular field that you may be interested in, and you get a volunteer, and you go to a place and you're like, oh, this isn't it for me. I don't think this is it. Awesome. Guess what? You have other skills. You have other things that you're good at. It's not just one thing. All right. I'll give you a perfect example. I used to have my hands in everything because I had a lot of things that I loved and I was good at. But I had to learn to bring it back and just focus on the things that were most passionate to me. And so I'll give you some of the best advice I ever got. Dr. Miles Monroe said this. He said, make a list of everything that you're good at and that you want to get into, and then just pick one. Literally, just pick one. You're young. Pick one and just go and see where it takes you. If you don't like where it takes you, guess what? You cross it off and you go to the next thing on your list. It's just that simple. Don't have fear of going out there and trying something, especially at your age. And I think that's a really awesome thing to look into and to look forward to, especially as we talk about laddering your success. All right, Festus, I think this is a great place to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. We close out this week and then start looking towards, again, doing a session 2 on the vision next week, I think. And yeah, for y'all who are watching this, y'all who are watching it later, whether you're a parent, whether you're, big cousin or something, and you're like, man, these guys, they kind of make sense. They got some good things going on. Please go ahead and tune in, right? You can find us on Facebook at Laddering Your Success, or you can find us at LYS Students LYS students, and there's a Facebook page there just for the LYS students. You can find us on YouTube. But if you want to be part of this mentoring, you're gonna sign up for our Eventbrite link. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna get that link to you. You could just search us on Eventbrite, free student mentoring, and we're there. But yeah, or you could just tell you what, you could email me. You could Festus, Festus, period, Amoye, Festus, Festus, period, Amoye, at ladderingyoursuccess.com, or you could just message us on any of our social media sites, and we'll shoot you that link for a free student mentoring, right?
Wonderful. And quick thing, hopefully we're going to try and set up, I have a Wacom, which is a cool little tablet, so we can kind of write things out. It's like a whiteboard type of thing. I'm supposed to use it in the classroom, but I want to try and use it here. So Lord willing, next week we'll have that up there.
Oh, this Zoom got their own whiteboards on it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that as we hey, look, we're 3 weeks in, and
it's okay, bro. It's okay.
No, I'm saying, we're taking these great steps every week, and so folks, I'm telling you, the beautiful thing about LYS is when you really look at LYS is a reflection. Like it's like hair club for men, even though
the Bosley.
I'm not, or Bosley. I'm not. Not only am I the president, I'm a member too. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not only am I involved in this, I'm a member too. So the things that's the beauty of LYS. The things that we talk about here, we apply to our lives, and we're coming from a place of truth, honesty, and experience, because we've actually experienced all of these things. So, folks, it's been another great week. I hope you took one thing. If you took one thing, you got one step closer.
Yeah.
All right. And I tell my kids this all the time. If you take one step every day, if you learn a little bit every day, that's 7 days where you've taken 7 good steps, right? You do that in a month, how many is it? It's like 31 steps. You do that in a year, 365. All right. It's a constant push every single day. All right. In order to do that, you got to have people around you who support you. You gotta put good in to get good that comes out. All right. What's that quote that you always say? There are legitimate reasons for.
There are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There's no legitimate excuse for not getting an education. And so with that, we're going to close out.
All right, folks. I hope you have a great week.
Oh, you still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS podcast.